Hello, hello, hello. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everyone. This is Jeff from Fluent American with you once more here at the Schwa Mill, where our goal is to help you craft your accent. You can send us pronunciation files, which we will then analyze for things like pronunciation of vowel sounds, pronunciation of consonant sounds, intonation patterns, stress reductions, anything that can help you sound more natural in American English. Do want to kind of just walk you through the steps for this. Give me a second to share my screen with you so that way everything will be familiar with you in case this is your first time. And in fact, I have just put up a poll, which hopefully you can see in the chat, so you can let me know how many episodes of the Schwa Mill have you seen, whether it's your first one. If it is your first one, say hey in the chat, let me know. And if you've seen like 1,000 of them, you can also let us know in the chat too. It's just great to have that information. So basically, this is what the document looks like where you can send in your pronunciation files. We use this same document every single week. So what you can do is you can just kind of put this in your favorites, you can bookmark it, and then usually on Thursday or Friday, I empty everything out and you can submit your own files, and I'll show you the steps. I was a little late doing that this week. I don't know if anyone here is a baseball fan, Major League Baseball fan, but the Phillies are in the World Series. Which is the championship for the baseball league in the U.S. So, and I'm from Philadelphia, so that has to be my team. But let's say again, you want to send us a file. We're going to go to the website vocaroo.com, and it's going to look like this. And you're going to see that big, fat, red microphone button. You're going to click that, and what you do, you're going to see it's going to start recording. It's going to finish recording. And then what it's going to do is going to say save and share. So you'll click that. Gives you this link. You copy that link. You paste it in here. So bam, I could see that. If you want me to know who you are, you can write your name. Otherwise, you can just leave it blank, or you can say anonymous. So that way we don't know who you are if you're worried about your privacy. Totally understand. Something else that can be helpful too is that if you say a sentence, write down the text so that way if I have any confusion, if I'm not sure about something that you said, for whatever reason, maybe there's an audio issue, this ensures that we give you the most accurate file. What I would say is that when you send in a file, I would recommend listening to it just to make sure you know the audio is good, it's sounding the way you want, because sometimes we get files that the volume is a little bit low, and that can make it a little bit difficult to give you the best feedback. So I really want to make sure that we can do things that help you the most in your American English. And by the way, we do this show, the Schwa Mill, every single Saturday at 1:30 p.m. I do have to make a note. My wife is a little sick, and my son is down for his nap, so to speak. We'll see how long he stays in his room, but the minute he breaks out, starts running amok in the house, I will have to leave. So I'm going to try to get through as many files as I can. Fortunately, I don't see too many. Well, fortunately or unfortunately, I don't see too many files right now in the document. So hopefully we get through everybody. And of course, if you have other questions related to English, if you have questions related to breakfast, if you have questions related to life, we'll be happy to do our best to answer anything that you put in the chat box as well. Okay. Manual notes that the mic is a bit low. That's interesting because I actually have it higher than previous. I'm going to turn up the mic. If the gain gets crazy, let me know. Let me also just make sure we're on the right mic. Yeah, it says it's okay. Emmanuel, I turned it up, so let me know if that helps. Okay, keep me posted on that. But speaking of that, hello to Emmanuel checking in. Hello also to Shok for checking in as well. Okay. People are saying continue to turn up the mic. Okay, they say that's better. Okay, I can turn up even a little more. I'm starting to get into that dangerous range. I'm just looking at my mixer, but hopefully that's still okay. Hello also to Anton sending a file, which is great. Great to see you. Thanks for joining us. That is right. Currently, there are not many files. Hopefully, we can get through everybody. Go Phillies. If anyone here is a baseball fan, let me know. Great to know. And Emmanuel, thanks for letting me know that that is better. So hopefully that is working. Trying to think other things related to housekeeping. I think that's it. If you guys think I'm missing anything, you can let me know. But besides that, I think we are ready to begin looking at your American English pronunciation files. So, to give you an idea of that. Oh, let me add myself there, right? Again, it's not little, it's more little.
The G host was class.
Are you feeling that here, here, or here? All right, you're going to see that I have put on my headphones. That way I will be able to hear what you guys are saying. Man, I'm saying now it's making a pop sound. This is so interesting. I'm going to try turning it down a little bit, but not too low. This is a check, check, 1, 2, 1, 2. Hopefully now the gain isn't crazy. While I wait for feedback on that, let me share my screen and my sound so that way you guys can hear and see everything I see in here. Okay, so you can see that this is our document, and again, not too many files. I have not had a chance to vet these, so I apologize if anything is not great. I will try to manage that, though. Let's take a look at our first one here. Let's kind of go in order. First file.
Now, English is a stress-time language, so what does that mean? It means that our syllables are going to be different lengths from one another.
Can play it one more time.
Now, English is a stress-time language, so what does that mean? It means that our syllables are going to be different lengths from one another.
Here's our text. Okay, and I already have some ideas on some feedback I want to give. Let's listen to the first part.
Now, English is a stress-time language.
Now, English is a stress-timed language.
Now, English is a stress-time language.
English is a stress-time language. Stress-time language. I would have maybe considered going a little higher in English. I don't think there's anything wrong with the pitches here. This is entirely personal preference. Okay, so I really can't emphasize that enough. But I probably would have said something more like,
Now, English is a
okay, now English is a stress-time language. Now English is a stress-time language.
Now, English is a stress-time language.
So again, I would just elevate our high pitches just slightly. Personally, if it were me. Now, if this is being modeled, so this is again being modeled after Kaufman, big in ESL field. Okay. Hello to Abdullah for checking in. Hello also to Zobeda. Great to see you both. Okay. So again, this all depends. Like, if you're doing a model and he's being flatter on his pitches and things like that, that's fine. And I think that's also a great strategy if you're sending in files to be modeling someone, just to kind of give you some guidance. But I think just to add a little bit more spice, because this is something Emmanuel and I have been kind of working on. So it's just kind of something just to practice expanding our pitches.
Now, English is a stress-time language.
Also want to hear the word stressed again, or stress-timed.
Now, English is a stress-time language, so is a stress-time language, is a stress-time language, is a stress-time language, now English is a stress-time language.
Stress.
English is a stress-time.
Stress.
English is a stress-time.
Stress. I'm kind of wondering if your placement could just go a little bit lower for that S sound on stress. Can you say like S stress? I would just practice that progression. S stress. S stress. S stress. Just a little bit, but that's a very minor thing.
Now, English is a stress-time language.
So here are also the lish in English.
Now, English is a...
I feel like I'm hearing lish versus lesh. I wonder if your L sound might be modifying your vowel slightly. Like English. Can you say English again with the tip of your tongue down? Okay, let me know if when you were saying that, maybe your tongue already was down, but I think it could be a little lower, maybe a little bit more open. Lish, English. I know I mentioned it before, but I feel like English is one of the most mispronounced words in English. They'll ask him, I don't know what it feels like. He sounds like Steve Kaufman. I've never actually heard him talk. Am I a bad person? Am I a bad English teacher? I've never actually heard him talk. I've just known like some of the research he's done. I've never actually heard him speak though. So maybe you could.
stress time language. So what is
Okay. So, okay, and the manual lets me know for his tongue it was up. Okay. Yes, I would say English. That glish sound, you can do that with the tip of your tongue down. Glish, 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 English, English. Okay. So beta, I got nothing on that. I don't know if it was an emoji or something I can't register. Okay. And he speaks Romanian too. I was not aware that Steve Kaufman spoke Romanian. Is he pretty good at it too? It's pretty sweet. Um, moving on for this file. This is a long file. It's lots of great stuff. Let's take a look at the second half.
what does that mean?
So what does that mean? Listen to how you say mean.
What does that mean?
Mean. What does that mean? What does that mean? So what does that mean? So what does that mean? I think that your N placement is slightly high, and that's causing the whole word to sound slightly high. Mean, mean, versus mean, mean. And there's nothing wrong with that. You know, even native speakers will get to that. May do that with a higher placement. So what does that mean?
What does that mean?
I do think it sounds slightly higher than what I would expect from a native speaker in most situations, though. So I would say it could be a placement thing for the N. It could be that in the other issues that maybe just not enough breath is coming through. You know, again, that N is a nasal sound, but just because it's nasal doesn't mean we change how much breath moves through the throat. So I would try to get a little bit more air passing through the throat and chest more. Mean, mean. So what does that mean? So what does that mean? Versus what does that mean? What does that mean? Can you hear a difference there?
What does that mean? It means that our syllables.
So you repeat mean. Let's see if there's a difference between how you say it the first time and the second time.
What does that mean? It means that our.
Do you hear that difference between the first time you say it and the second time?
What does that mean? It means that.
I like that second one a lot more. It means. What does that mean? It means. What does that mean? It means.
What does that mean? It means that.
You know, I like that second one a lot more. Use that as your model. So I really like that second one. Yeah. Z says, I'm a bad teacher if I've never listened to him. I guilty. I accept that. That is completely on me. Completely on me.
Syllables are.
Let's hear that. Syllables.
Our syllables.
Syllables versus syllables. End on bull. Again, so we're seeing again, I mean, I want you to keep watching out for your L's because your L's are modifying your vowel sounds in your words. So it's getting you into, I don't want to say it's getting you into trouble, but it's changing some of what you're saying to sound a little bit less natural.
Means that our syllables are going to be different lengths from one another.
Different lengths. Lengths is a really fun word, right?
Syllables are going to be different lengths.
Lengths versus lengths. I do think, I don't know, I think your placement's a little high.
Are going to be different lengths.
Lengths. I think your NG sound. Lengths. I think that your NG sound is making your placement go a little higher and a little tenser. So you can get more Say more So again, this is another sound. It's another nasal sound, but we still want to keep that placement a little lower. Okay. Other things there.
Those are going to be different lengths from one another.
What happened to one? Got a little muffled there.
Are going to be different lengths from one another.
Like from
different lengths from one another. A bit different lengths from one another.
So that schwa sound, you're not really getting a whole lot of breath through. Okay, so it's a little bit too muffled, a little bit too close. From versus from one another, from one another versus from one another. Can you hear the difference there? Just a little bit more air through the throat. Okay. Other things, I'm gonna listen to that one more time.
Now, English is a stress time language. So, what does that mean? It means that our syllables are going to be different lengths from one another.
Yeah, so aside from those things that I mentioned, you know, one thing I will say is that I like, in general, the contrast. I think you have a nice range of pitches. Again, there were some we mentioned could go higher, but I think there's enough contrast here so that even when you're doing the reductions, everything is still coming off pretty clearly. Aside from that schwa sound, you want to get more breath through. Okay? So, Emmanuel, those would be my major comments for you. Hopefully that makes sense. If you have any questions for me, let me know. Abdullah heaping on the praise. This guy's the same accent and the same sound. That's great. And Emmanuel also notes that in the audio file he ran out of breath at the end, so maybe that's why that schwa sound went missing a little bit. Okay. Thank you so much for sending that file. By the way, guys, just to talk about some things that are upcoming on the channel that I'm excited about and hope you are too. Oh man. Oh man, I'm excited. Give me 1 second. I'm going to show this for you as soon as it loads. Get ready. Do you guys know what I'm about to show you? Do you know what's about to come? It's going to be this. Oh my gosh, Novenglish. What is Novenglish? Well, you guys thought that November is the next month of the year, but you're wrong. It's Novenglish. This means we're going to be doing 30 days of pronunciation videos to talk about basically all different kinds of English. This is our series, so that way, what can I say? A lot of people, when they're studying pronunciation, they're like, I don't know where to begin, I don't know where to end. Like, I know I want to work on pronunciation, but where do I start? Well, this is going to be your 30-day guide, going from everything about like breath and placement related to all the most problematic sounds. So that way, at the end of the 30 days, you will have an idea of like, okay, these are the key concepts I need to study in maybe this order. So it's going to help you sound the most natural. So get excited. It's going to be 30 days, every day a new video, ranging in length from probably about like 2 or 3 minutes to maybe 5 minutes max. Nothing too long or crazy. So what I would say is get excited for that. I already have a bunch of thumbnails made. I've started recording. So get ready for November 1st through the 30th. It'll be great to be on that journey with you. Let me know as we do those videos how you're finding them. If there's topics that we haven't included that you would like to be mentioned, this is definitely the time too that it would be good to let me know. So that's going to be coming very soon to you. You are most welcome, Emmanuel. Okay. And Abdullah asks Emmanuel, why is he using a different account? Mr. Steve, I like that. Okay, I hear my son, so I'm going to have to blitz through these files, and then as soon as he storms into this office, then it's going to be time for me to head out. So we're going to run. Okay, next file. Okay. Alfred Lord Tennyson. I love his In Memoriam. It's such a good poem. Anyways. A lot of ass sounds here, which is great. Well, I'm not sharing the audio. Oh, no. Thank you to Emmanuel for letting me know that the audio was not coming through. Let's try. Take 2, folks. Take 2. Take 2. This is why we love Emmanuel.
He clasped the crag with crooked hands.
Okay, crooked. You want to hold that sound. Crooked. This is the same sound as in like book and should. Okay? Our next one. Where's our file?
He clasped the crag with crooked hands.
Okay.
He clasped the crag with crooked hands.
Yeah, so crooked is going to be my major comment there for like in book.
Close to the sun in lonely lands.
Lonely. I want to hear the difference between mine and yours.
To the sun in lonely lands. Close to the sun in lonely lands.
Lonely. Actually, I guess that sounds okay.
Close to the sun in lonely lands.
Lonely lands. What you could do in terms of pitch, you go a little higher pitch on lands. Lonely lands.
Sun in lonely lands. Ringed with azure world.
Ringed. Watch out for the the. I'm not hearing the. Ringed with the.
Ringed with azure world.
Azure world. I would probably stress world more too. Ringed with the azure world.
With azure world.
Ringed with the azure world. So again, I would raise the pitch there a little bit.
Stands.
He stands. Yeah. All right, I know my son is around, so I'm going to have to pause our feedback here. But yeah, the big thing are they're going to be crooked. Some stressing, so stressing a little bit more on world. Lonely lands, so want to stress more lands. Okay? So those are going to be my major things for the moment there. Shok. Apologize, I had to kind of run through that quick, but hopefully that is helpful. Next. Moving on to Anthem. Okay. Azor, or Azor. I think you'll hear both. Emmanuel was asking about how to pronounce that. Okay. And my mom makes a note that for lonely, I think that the L at the end of lonely needs to be emphasized more. Lonely. You can kind of muffle it. You can keep the front of your tongue down if you want, but that's another option for lonely. Maybe going a little heavier Shok on the L. Okay. Enzo Beta asks about Novenglish. Please upload it on a podcast so we can listen to them. I can definitely look into that. Maybe I can add it to like the Schwab Meal podcast. And there's an internet shutdown. Yeah, I hope everything's going okay there. I know things have been crazy. Things are crazy everywhere, but some places more than others at different times, right? Our next file here. Taking a second to load.
A speech refers to an informal.
Ooh, this might be a little tricky to do
an audience
because the audio is
Giving a
really,
speech
really low.
Allows you to address a group of people, to express your thoughts and oftentimes your opinion.
Okay, I'm gonna play this one more time, and I'm just gonna have to give you some quick feedback because the audio is a little bit low, and I feel like people may have a hard time hearing it. But just some quick thoughts.
A speech refers to an informal or formal talk given to an audience.
One thing I'm already seeing is a speech refers to a formal. That dark L sound at the end could be more open. Okay. Also refers. You can say refers, that's fine, but another way you'll often hear that said is with a reduced first syllable. So instead of more refers, a speech refers.
Giving a speech allows you
other things.
Talk given to an audience.
Audience is fine. Another way that you will hear that pronounced is with an aw sound, like audience. So you hear audience or audience. Whichever way you say it is perfectly fine.
Giving a speech.
Giving. I think you could be a little bit more short on giving. I also think you're maybe a little tense on speech. It's not speech, it's more speech. Try to get a little bit more air through, okay?
Giving a speech allows you to address a group of people.
Again, we're seeing that dark L at the end. So again, we saw this with formal. Same thing with people. I would recommend opening your mouth a little wider, pressing the tip of your tongue down harder, and really trying to, again, get a little bit more breath through. So some more So again, people. It's not people, it's people. Okay?
To express your thoughts and oftentimes your opinion.
Again, we're seeing on opinion with the short I sound. So it's not opinion, it's more a pen. Short I, in, opinion. So it's not opinion, it's a pen. So just a note there. Again, unfortunately, the audio is there and there's a lot of background noise. So take everything I'm saying, listen to your own file, and you'll be able to kind of apply it to those things, and hopefully that makes sense. Thank you for sending that file. I do appreciate it. I do encourage everyone, when you send files, just make sure that the quality is good. You may want to test it with headphones just to be sure, because that's one of the ways that most likely we're going to hear it as well. Hello to Justin checking in. Good to see you. Justin, I was reading an article because I remember just looking at like the manga for your profile picture. I saw an article talking about how a lot of Japanese people are upset about like AI generated mangas because they were designed after there was some manga artist that was super famous that passed away recently, and they basically fed a lot of his art into like an AI program, and the AI program started making some of its own, and they looked good, but people are offended, like, how could you, like, the man just died, and stuff. So things like that. Everyone's afraid of AI generated art. What can I say? Just a quick reminder, guys, by the way, before we look at our next file. Like what you're hearing. Let us know by liking and subscribing. Okay, who is next? I see this is from someone with a schwa sound. If this lets me open it. Before we take a look at that file, just a quick question here. Some people pronounce Boston and as Boston. I think Boston. I can. Every time for me, every time I say Boston, usually you hear the T. I'll be honest. That's one case where the aspirated T is the most common. My guess is that if you hear it pronounced another way, it could be being pronounced with like maybe a held T, like Boston, Boston, or something like that, versus just like Boston. It's not Boston, Boston. I don't think people are saying Boston. My guess is probably a held T, Boston, Boston, especially with that N after. Um, that's just my guess, though. Um, it's just my guess. Just my guess. Great question. Take a look at our next file here. This is the schwa sound, supposedly. Okay, they literally just said schwa, so I guess they're just literally looking at a schwa sound. Okay. I almost feel like I'm hearing like an apple. Ah. But again, the schwa sound will be more just some quick tips for the schwa sound. Again, this is the sound you make when you're in a neutral position. So make your face without a smile or a frown. I know that's difficult. Some other tips, again, you'll notice that your top and your bottom teeth don't touch. And the middle of your tongue is going to rise up a little bit, but not touch the top of your mouth. Okay. So yeah, more So it's not It's going to be more It's like was. Like this is a exercise you can do is take a word that has a schwa sound, so like maybe a word like was. And what you can do is you could do like was, or another word like fun. You could do like fun, fun, and things like that if you're continuing to practice your schwa sound. We have a whole series. We have the 7-day schwa challenge. If you check out our playlists, so that way you can see. I think I'll try to bring it up if I can. We're basically through 7 days. It's like a series of quick 2-3 minute videos. And basically what it does is just kind of walks through different exercises you can do to practice your schwa. Let me see. 7-day. Here it is. It's like 7-day schwa challenge. So if you're trying to practice your schwa sound, that's what I would definitely recommend. Some other things too. Talking a bit about Boston. My mom notes, again, another native speaker. I'm not sure I've ever heard it pronounced as like Boston before. I have not either. That sounds really strange to me. If you have a link, like is it from a video, you can post the link or send it to me in the message or something like that, and I'd be happy to check. My guess this is a held T sound, and that's something that Emmanuel is mentioning as well. He's saying it's like a held T before an N, like we see in words like cotton or mountain. So again, like Boston or something like that. And that, if that is happening in what you're hearing, then that is my guess as to what is occurring. But yes, let's go back. My son has not stormed the Citadel yet, so we're still okay. Sending that file with some schwa practice. That is great. Next up, we got Sycamore. And by the way, guys, if you're finding this stream helpful and you want other people to kind of find out about the stream too, some things that can help, even just pressing that like button, are super, super helpful. Also, let me know in the chat, how many times have you been here? I know I sent the poll, but tell me, this is my 100th episode. This is my 10th episode. This is your first time watching us? Yeah, hold up. I need to make myself big for this. This is important. If this is your very first time watching us, please say hey. It'd be great to know that. Or maybe this is, you've watched a lot of episodes, but you've never said anything. Are you a lurker? Are you just one of those people that visits but never says anything? Well, this is a great chance. We would love to say hey. You can go back to lurking afterwards, but we just want to say hi. Want to know that you're here. Same thing if you're watching in the replay. That would be helpful. Anu asks, I have gotten, I don't know if this is a question. They just say but I don't know the rest. So if I'm missing something, be sure to let me know, because I want to be able to answer this, but I'm not sure what it means. My mom notes that I've noticed that folks have gotten sloppy with their pronunciation lately in general life as well as in the media. I'm always hesitant. You know, language is always changing. It's flexible. It's certainly, it moves in ways that people may not always like, or that people view as, you know, different degrees of formality, informality. And this isn't just an English thing. I think this is across the world. I mean, languages are organic. Let's see what happens in terms of how people are using their language and things like that. Forms that we may not have been used to at one time certainly come into vogue. Anu asks, is T dropped out of definitely? Definitely. That's a great question. What I would say here is that definitely, I wouldn't say it's dropped. I would say it's held. It's not definite. Well, again, the held sound, what that means is you're not letting the breath through. So it's not just removing the T. One example of this is look at the words like stay versus state. Stay, S-T-A-Y, that's one word. State, S-T-A-T-E. They don't have the same exact sound. Stay, state, stay, state. So for definitely, again, it's not just removing the T, it's that it's more held, so you're not releasing the breath, and you're also shortening the vowel. Great question. Emmanuel asks, how do you say pass through? Pass through, pass through, pass through. Most likely if you're getting a whistly sound, so Emmanuel knows that he gets almost a whistly sound between the S and the TH. That's mostly likely happening because your T is against probably in the middle or your top front tooth would be my guess, like pass through, pass through. Okay, which is fine. That's one way to do it. If you feel like you're getting whistle like pass through or like something like that, you may want slightly, when I say slightly, I mean very slightly firmer contact with your top front tooth. But another option for that too is actually having the tip of your tongue down against your bottom front tooth, like pass through, pass through. And you're not going to get a very clear TH sound when you do that. I do want to be clear. But it's something that may make it a little bit smoother when you're saying it so that you can avoid that whistling sound. Pass through, pass through. In all honesty, I'm not really making contact with my top teeth. That's all against the bottom. Pass through. Just a note there. My mom knows. Realizes there are different dialects and different ways of cultural pronunciations. Oh, definitely. I mean, for sure. I think. I think over time, there's always people. Not even just like dialects and cultural pronunciations. I think again, languages is constantly in flux. So even like the standard way of speaking changes over time. And man, Edward says hi. Almost said Emmanuel. Edward says hi. What's up, man? Welcome back to another stream. Great to have you back. All right, moving right along here. Let's see what we got.
I already asked Bill about their plans. Does this mean that you just went with it?
Okay, and we got some another schwa file coming up soon, which is exciting. I'm excited for that. But let's take a look at this from Sycamore. Let's listen again.
I already asked Bill about their plans.
I know Sycamore has been practicing their ill sound, that short I with the L.
I already asked Bill about their plans.
I already asked Bill about their plans. I'm wondering again, Sycamore, if you're shadowing this from someone. I don't know if you're watching live or not. I'd be curious if you are taking this from something. Did they stress Bill?
I already asked Bill about their plans.
Because that seems slightly unusual to me. It's certainly possible. I don't want to say it's wrong. I would have kind of expected already to have been the stress. Like, I already asked Bill about their plans. Versus, I already asked Bill about their plans. That to me doesn't feel as common as like, I already asked Bill about their plans. Okay, Sycamore, cool. I'm glad you're here. Great to see you as always. Sycamore is in our Telegram group too, which I will tell more about soon if I have time. But Sycamore, I would love to know, are you modeling this? This time it's not shadowing. Okay. Cool. So let's listen to this again.
Does this mean that you just went with it? I already asked Bill about their plans.
Like that pattern just doesn't feel very common to me in English. I probably would have stressed already. I already asked Bill about their plans. Or you could stress asked. Okay. I already asked Bill. Or I already asked Bill about their plans. Instead of I already asked Bill, that sort of pattern I think is less common in American English, in my opinion. I also don't know if you need to stress on plans.
I already asked Bill about their plans.
If you do want to stress plans, fine, but you probably want a higher pitch about their plans.
About their plans.
I already asked Bill about their plans.
Does this mean that you just went with it?
I really like that you just went with it. I like that part. That you just went with it. That's great.
Yes. Does this mean that you...
Does this? I want to hear does this.
Does this mean...
Does this?
Does this mean that you just... Does this mean that you just... Does this mean that
Does this mean? So I think that I do think something sounds slightly different. Oh my gosh, what? My son has invaded, so I might have to head out, guys. I'm sorry. He is pressing all of the buttons. Sorry if you hear a bunch of sound effects. I've tried to mute it. Yeah. I'll probably I apologize, guys, but I'll probably need to head out. But if I have time later tonight, I'll probably try to do one more quick stream just to give people feedback. I see there's some quick questions I just want to answer really quick before I head out. One person in my office from Utah, he pronounces standard as standard. My guess is that he actually pronounces the first T, but it's just a little bit light. So I don't think it's standard. I think it's standard. Okay, so it's not standard, more standard. My guess is the T is there, but it's just very light. Standard. I also think that there is it's not standard, it's standard. I think he has a very slight D sound. I don't think he's just removing the D, in my opinion. I imagine it's just very, very light, in my opinion. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. Edward also asked, do you drop the TH while pronouncing does this? That's a great question. I have a video upcoming about THs. Again, that's something we're going to discuss. Something that we'll see a lot with THs when they link is that a lot of times they do change. So for instance, does this. You can pronounce the TH if you want, does this. But a lot of times, especially if it's reduced, you will hear just kind of a repetition like does this. So that certainly is possible. You also see this with when what you see this also with like th and ends. Like if you say like for instance and then, a lot of times that just becomes like and then, or like situations like that. So THs oftentimes are not as strong as people think they are, and sometimes they are reducing to the point where they're actually not even heard. So that is possible. My mom says she loves my son Tatum. I will let him know. Okay, my son has quieted down. I'll try to get some quick feedback. This, and I'll probably have to run.
I already asked Bill about their plans? Does this mean that you just
Does this mean? Maybe it's not the short I or like the E sound, but actually maybe in terms of the stressed word. That might be the issue.
Does this mean that you just went with it? Does this mean that
Does this mean you just went with it? Does this mean? I feel like you're going, does this mean? Versus like, does this mean? Maybe like going down on this if you're stressing mean. Or you could do the opposite, go high on this, but go down on mean. Like, does this mean that you just went with it? Does this mean you just went with it? Does this mean you just went with it? Like, something like that I think would be more natural pattern there. Okay, guys, again, I do have to cut this short, and my apologies. But thank you so much for spending part of your Saturday with me. I have to go take a look at my son. Again, November, Novenglish. It's the new month of the year. 30 days of pronunciation videos coming to you. Also, if you would like to work with me every single day of the week, well, Monday through Friday, we have a program called Mission English. I'll be posting a link afterwards in the comments. We would love to work with you. We have it's great because it's super conversational. It's a live stream like this, but you join me on screen and we get to talk to each other. You can ask pronunciation questions. We do exercises and things like that. I know a couple of you here are members of the group, so thank you for being here and there. But I hope you guys consider that. Great to work with you. We have a discount going on right now. You can get 18 classes. So that's 18 live streams you can join for $15. All you need to do is go to fluentamerican.com/ Sorry, I'm trying to look over my microphone to see what I'm typing. fluentamerican.com/mission English. Yes, I think I spelled everything right. Hard to see. And if you type in the code FALL50, you will get 50% off your first month. It would be great to work with you one-on-one. Look forward to it. All right, guys, let me go check on my son. Have a good day. Have a good night. Have a good afternoon. I really appreciate it, and we will talk soon. Bye.